Carbs in, carbs out. That's what I say. Put a couple pounds off, take a couple of pounds off. No big deal. The important thing is joy, love, family, all the things that we're up to here at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. We appreciate you and love you, as always. Thank you for joining us again for another wonderful Sunday service. Buckle up, enjoy Dr. Joe's message, enjoy it all. Peace and love. Welcome. Before I start my talk today, I just want to thank Reverend William and Elizabeth for creating this beautiful, beautiful display behind me. I know that tree weighs like 10,000 pounds, and poor William had to cart it around by himself and put it up there. But I just want to thank them, and their effort and energy is so greatly appreciated. So my talk title today is Weapons of Mass Distraction. I don't know about you, but I am so easily distracted right now. In fact, I find myself quite often heading into a room to take care of a task, and I get there and I have no earthly idea why I'm there, but there's 10,000 other things to do, and so I start doing them, and then I come back to my original position and go, wait a minute, I went upstairs to do this, or I went there. I don't know about you, but there seems to be a lot of things that have been distracting me lately. And as we head into the holiday season, no matter how that's going to look with this COVID thing and all that stuff, it doesn't matter. We want to make sure that we're focused on what we can do to create the best of our lives, all right? So one of the things that I want, the slide that's popping up right now is a picture of one of my favorite distractions, and that is what I call my heavenly bed. I have gone to great lengths to make sure I have the right sheet count, so it is super smooth and silky, and I've got the perfect blankets, and I've worked very hard to get the right combination of pillows. Now, that's really good when I'm ready to go to sleep, but I also find it to be a real distraction because as I'm lying there feeling really good about waking up in the morning, I'm thinking, so why bother getting up right now? I feel good. Whatever I have to do, it can wait until I can continue to enjoy this experience. But the problem is I never get started on the things that need to be done. We do this because we are denying ourselves. We're living in a state of denial. We're denying that, something needs to get me out of this position and move me into another. Denial is one of the biggest distractions we have. Many people think that when one says that God is all there is, that we're denying the reality of things, of the physical body, the physical environment, or even our own personality. But that's not the case. We don't deny anything other than wrong relationships. And when I say wrong relationships, it's not relationships with other people, although that is something. It's being in wrong relationship with the universe. It's not being in the proper universal spiritual relationship that we have in order for us to see that while things on the outside may not appear to be what we want them to be, it just means that it's in wrong relationship. I always say things are always either right or in the wrong relation, or they're either right or they're in the wrong arrangement of right, and I need to arrange them rightly. Don't make me repeat that because so rewind and listen again. So all I have to do is see when things are wrong, they're just in the wrong arrangement of right. And it's up to me to stop being in denial and procrastinating and start moving on it. So we don't deny the physical body or even our environment. We take off the glasses that make things appear to be inverted and affirm a body of divine ideas ordained and organized for the definite purpose of its own self-expression. So that comes right out of the textbook. Let me say this again. I'm going to unpack it. We don't deny the physical body or environment. Things are what they are, right? I've always said, if I break my leg, I can't turn around and go, oh, I'm turning away from the condition and expect that leg to turn at the same time. Doesn't work that way, all right? I have to acknowledge it, recognize it, but also know that there is and affirm that there is a divine idea of restoration taking place in my body or in my finances or in my relationships or in my work. Whatever it is, I'm affirming the divine idea, which from itself will create an ordained and organized solution for me if I wake myself up long enough to see it. That's the key. The universe has all the solutions to all the problems anywhere in the world. There isn't something that the universe can't figure out. It's awaiting our recognition of it and our ability to move on it. But it's so much easier to stay in the bed. It is. It just screams work any other way. So, why bother doing today when you can put it off until tomorrow? Next thing, because procrastination is suicide on the installment plan. It is. Procrastination, it's a killer, but it's a slow killer. Because what you realize is things begin to mount up over and over again until this mountain seems insurmountable, and then you become overwhelmed, and your whole emotional being becomes off kilter because things just haven't been done. This procrastination, it's so, the other, wait, stay right there. There's another distraction. This thing. I have learned, I don't know much about this phone, but I know one thing, that when I put it in my hand and I want to waste time, there are millions upon millions of places for me to go to waste time. And I will have hours spent on my phone or on my computer or on Netflix, and the time just goes like this. And then I wonder at the end of the day, what did I do today? Why didn't I have time to finish this project? It's because I had this weapon of mass distraction in my hand. So we can't delay anymore. Here we go. Napoleon Hill said this: procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow what should have been done the day before yesterday. I like that. Procrastination is the bad habit of putting off until the day after tomorrow, which should have been done the day before yesterday. Hop on things, especially in the holiday season. I know it's going to be a little bit different because of the situation we have in the world, but especially around that time of year, I would find that I would say, oh no, I'll do that next week. Oh, I'll do that next week. Oh, I'll do that next week. And then the weeks kept rolling and I never got things done. And then I'm backed up against the corner going, oh my God, I've run out of time. Well, who pushed the good out into the future and who procrastinated and didn't get done what the universe needs to get done? Dr. Tom always used to say to us, and I love this, do what's in front of you first. And so I have this new thing, and it's a technique, and I'm going to share it with you. I try not to move a piece of paper more than once. This is a challenge, because as things come in, as mail comes in, or as I've got to print out a report, or something comes in and I have to review it, I try to look at it and then figure out where it's supposed to go, not putting it in a pile, but actually putting it in its location. Moving on it quickly so things don't begin to stock up. It's one of the techniques that I learned that said, do what's in front of you now instead of waiting to get things done. When I do that, persistence brings success. I feel like I'm on top of my game. When I have a lot of things swirling around in the back of my mind that have to be done, that I've created a list, it haunts me daily. You know what I'm talking about? Every time you wake up, you think, okay, now I have to remember to do this. I have to remember to do this on my list. And if it doesn't get done, it rolls over to the next day. So there's always things rolling on the list of things that could be done, but I'm holding off. That occupies your spiritual energy time. It's instead of just taking it and moving something away. If you're persistent with this, you will feel really good about yourself because you'll feel like you're on top of your game. And when I feel like I'm on top of my game, I'm like, yes, bring on more of the game, right? Instead, when I feel like I'm behind, I'm like, don't add. I can't handle anymore, right? So persistence brings success. Continually using constructive rather than destructive conversation and seeing the divine in every person and surrendering the mind in complete abandonment to the idea of success, regardless of relative condition or opinion. This comes right from the textbook. We need to allow ourselves to be constructive rather than destructive conversations. And I know there's been a lot of fallout of all the things that have happened in the world and all the things that continue to happen in the world. I have to keep myself focused so my conversations are constructive. My mind is in a state of expansion, is in a state of perfect, do it now, get it done. If I have that idea and I surrender in mind to the complete abandonment that whatever I need to get done will get done at the time that it needs to get done, and I take take the first step in doing it, it doesn't matter what it looks like on the outside. What matters is that I put a seed into the universe that will move me into completion and demonstration. It just will feel really good. So, some people say, I don't have enough. I'm not enough. I lack the skill set, and I'm limited as a result. That's just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. You're giving reasons why you're not willing to step in and get something done. Now, I know this is hard. I know it's hard because it's hard for me to do. I'm challenged with this all the time. This is one of the things that it's a spiritual practice that I continually have to work on. And it's really funny because now that Trey's retired, I'll tell a little story. So now that Trey's retired, and Trey is like Mr. OCD, everything is cleaned with a Q-tip and alcohol all the time, okay? So I've been living with that for 32 years. Well, when he went off to be a pilot for 3 days a week, I sort of became a little more, shall we say, lax in that area. But when I knew he was coming home, Carly and I would frantically clean the house and put everything back to order, so it looked like it was always that way when he was gone. So, but now that he's home, as you know, all the time, I've had to be very aware that things always have to be in a certain way, that there's no latitude, there's no movement. It's like, because if I leave a glass out, it is swooped up by this invisible force. And not only swooped up, there's like, I smell the smell of Windex, and I hear the thing, and I see it being cleaned. It's crazy. So I have to remind myself that I'm in relationship with someone else whose habits are a little bit different, but whose habits are actually very healthy. To keep things organized, keep things clean, keep things orderly. The universe operates in an orderly way, so we have to be orderly for it to operate through us. If we're in chaos and disorder, we should not be surprised when chaos and disorderly things begin to happen. See, now we're coming in the holiday season. Now's the time to clean out your clothes, donate it to one of our center, donate things to the center so we can get them out into the community. Organize, organize, organize. Ready? Lack and limitation are not things of themselves, but rather the way we demonstrate our freedom. Why? Because the same law that binds us by our ignorance is the same law that sets us free. So for all the reasons that you have to not get things done and use those weapons of mass distraction, for all the reasons you have to do those things, the universe has a counter argument to it, which is clear and concise. And it wants that order. It wants to maintain that sense of order and balance in your life. Someone taught me a long time ago, I think it was Dr. Bill Tolliver, one of my teachers, and he would say, all one needs to do is look at the back seat of their car to determine how orderly their life is. Have you done that lately? I mean, I know what's in the back seat of my car, and I'm thinking, a couple things I probably could move, right? The whole thing is this. We have a pattern, and these life patterns play out in every area of our life. And I know I'm kind of harping on the whole clutter thing, and I'm harping on the balance thing and the order thing. And I'm just trying to hit home that in this time of year, when we have been locked in for the majority of the year, or at least felt locked in the majority of the year, our life has changed. Now would be, again, another wonderful opportunity for you to be ready for whatever 2021 brings. And the biggest preparation tool you can do is have your inner house in order, your mental house in order, so that when the world begins to open up and unfold, what happens on the outside is a reflection of the balance that you have on the inside, both internally and in your surroundings. That is something we do have control over. So there are people that say, well, I'm just an average guy living an average existence. We are all subject to the law of averages until we specialize our way out of it. Right? We're all subject to the law of averages and living an average life until we learn a skill set such as this, that we can use it, and I call it specialize our way out of it. Make a different choice, make a different selection. It's something we can do. We can specialize ourselves out of out of this law, which says the average person must suffer all types of limitation, by making use of a universal law in an individualized way. We can specialize this law that sometimes says, that we interpret as a law of averages, that we have to suffer all kinds of limitation, but the universe is saying, no, use this law for yourself. There's no need to suffer. Apply spiritual principle to this, and it will resolve itself. Continue doing what you're doing. You're going to continue doing and getting what you've already done. It has to change. You have to specialize in this area. So I want you to become a specialist in time management, in chaos management, if you will, organization, balance, those things. Let's specialize our way into those things over the next few years, all right? Next few months even. The law follows one of two patterns. The pattern of thought which the whole race believes about itself, or the pattern of thought which some individual believes about his or herself. So I'm going to pack this because when we're going to use this kind of spiritual law, we have to put it into practice. Now, am I going to put into practice what I want to call the whole human race believes about things, or am I going to individualize it for myself and use it for myself? I recommend the second one because a lot of things that are happening in the outside world have an energy unto themselves that you may or may not want to connect with, but I do know that the passion that I have within my own experience, my own desires that I have, if I use that universal law to express this, that I can experience wonderful things that I desire, not what other people think I should desire. I hope that makes sense, all right? So, weapons of mass distraction. It takes spiritual application and getting out of your heavenly bed to move things in that direction. So get out whatever you have to get out of and see for yourself how when you complete one task that it can lead to the other, and if it does, it will lead to another, and it will, which will lead to another. And next thing you know, you're going to be looking at a life that is orderly and balanced, and then the universe is going to comply through the law of attraction and bring you more of the same. That's what I want for myself this holiday season. And so end your lesson. Thank you.
All right, Center for Spiritual Living, Palm Desert. What a wonderful opportunity we have, as always, to share our financial abundance with our community. You know, it's not giving to the community, it's giving as the community. We all make it up, and this is the opportunity that we have to do that. You've got all sorts of notices on the screen of all the ways that you can give. We invite you to give powerfully. We invite you to receive powerfully, knowing that we're operating in a cycle of circulation. So let's just take a moment and bless it together, knowing that as we contemplate our gift, given that we're doing so much of it by mail or virtually, that we contemplate the gift that we're giving now, knowing that we're courageous and bold in our giving. As we must be courageous and bold in our receiving, and that is the cyclical nature of circulation that we circulate. So I bless the gift, the giver, and the receiver, wrapped in a blanket of absolute love. I recognize this whole ritual as a magnificent blessing. Call it good, and so it is. Amen. Another magnificent service. We're so blessed and grateful. Let's move into the week powerfully. And as Dr. Joe spoke of, let's not be distracted by the weapons of mass distraction. So as we turn in within for a moment of prayer, take a deep breath. So grateful for this service and what has unfolded this morning. I know that we continue to remain tethered to and vigilant of that almighty presence and power that is and that lives within us. As we're continually reminded to keep our focus on what's real, to lay down the distractions and remain focused on spiritual sustenance, on our source, which leads us to an ever greater freedom, expression, and beauty this week. I'm so grateful for this service, for our collective consciousness and community. I know that we continue to remain bound together in this holy love ever hypervigilant of the presence and power and love of the presence that is the Spirit as our lives. I'm grateful for this service. I call all of it good. Together, let us say, and so it is. Amen. Make it a great week, beloved community.